Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. She was growing beautifully, like even though she was a small baby to start with. As I said, when she was born at 28 weeks, even for her 28 week size, she was smaller. She was small. She was a month behind growth wise back at that point as well. So for us, that she's gaining weight was extremely important. But she was growing beautifully, as I said, and especially lengthwise, she was growing. Um, Again, as I said, beautifully. I can't say any other word because she was getting so big compared to when we brought her home from the hospital. Also, by this time, she could sit by herself. Not She could sit by herself, not for long, but for a few minutes. That wasn't like sitting completely without any help, but what I'm talking about is basically she could sit if she was just holding onto my hand. She didn't need the support of, I didn't need to put her against something for support. She could kind of support herself up by just holding onto my hand, or by putting down her hands, like we are going into this tripod position that that's how babies sit at the first time. So she was getting to that point at the 4-month mark. And well, obviously her personality was coming out more and more, and she was extremely giggly. She was laughing a lot by this time. So by at 4 age, she could laugh for such a long time. She was giggling a lot. She was talking a lot without really saying anything, but just always talking, like kind of like this, just back in there. Yeah, that's whole Snow White, baby, Snow White. It's Snow White. Yeah. She loves books. We were reading to her like at that time as well. Like I'm just mentioning it because she bought this book here anyways, and she loves books. Like it's one of her favorite things is just to read with me. And now she's 18 months, but that was the same thing at the 4-month mark. She loved reading. So what else did I wanted to say is that Christmas came and we were taking her to check out Christmas lights at the different places in within the Greater Vancouver area where we know they had beautiful lights. And so she was super cute. Like if you go on my Instagram, which is linked it's in the description below. If you go on our Instagram, I had pictures from back at the time, and she was so cute because she had this reindeer kind of an overall. She didn't have a coat at that time because she didn't spend time outside much, so she was just wearing that, and I put her under my coat, and she was also in my baby carrier, right? So she was in a baby carrier wearing just this cute reindeer outfit, very fluffy, how do you call that? Sherpa coat material, and then she was in the baby carrier and in my coat over her, and that's how we went to check out the Christmas lights. I can't say that she super enjoyed it at that time, but probably. So at that 4 months age, she wasn't that into, like she was just exploring the world. Like I pretty sure she liked it, but like not like this year. She was all over it. What happened is that we went to a Christmas party where we got sick, so that kind of sucked. So this was the first time when she got sick, and thank God that was the last time she got sick until this year. So for her first year, she only got sick that one time, and it wasn't too bad, so thank God. So basically, the main issue was that she was congested. Her nose was congested, and obviously at that age you have that nebula. Is that? Okay, I don't know. So basically, you have that little thing to suck out the had to suck out the mucus from her nose, and she hated it. I hated it, she hated it, but that was basically the suckiest part of her being sick. Thank God nothing serious happened. She was obviously sleeping a lot more. She was eating completely, okay, maybe not as much because she was sleeping more, but when she was eating pretty good. And also her voice went away, and even if she was laughing or crying, she couldn't get any voice out, which was super cute at one, from one angle, but obviously it's not something I really want. Also, I said I had to get her mucus out of her nose. Her temperature was up as well, but only for one day that we had to give her Tylenol. The rest of the days I didn't reach the high point to give her Tylenol, because under one, like this is at 4 months, like they don't really recommend Tylenols for the 4-month-old babies if you don't need those. So we only need to give it to her one night and just one time, and that was it, thank God. Obviously she was extremely fussy, she was trying to cry a lot, but there was no voice coming out. All this happened, and so this is something that I think by that 4-month mark most people can expect to go through one of these colds or flus, especially if you're in the winter month. But even if not, they say that like in the first 2 years, lots of babies get sick like up to 8 times or something like that, and I'm like, well, I hope not mine. And so far she's at 18 months. She was sick twice, last Christmas and this Christmas. So anyways, what I wanted to say is that on the other hand, this was the so this is at 4.5 months is when she actually sat by herself, and that's when I'm saying that tripod position, like with her two hands out for support, or her two hands out like this. She was basically supporting herself by her two hands. At this point, as soon as she was able to sit, now she wants to stand all the time. So when you lift her up and you're trying to put her down, she was always putting her leg out so she could stand, obviously with our support. But I think that's why she was such an early walker, because she just really hated not being able to do anything, and as soon as she saw the opportunity that she can start doing things, then she just went for it, because she was an extremely early walker. But anyway, so at 4.5 months, so she sits by herself at this point, plus she stands not by herself, but she wants to stand. So this is when we got the issue became a little bit bigger, the feeding issue, though, when she was sick, because as I mentioned it, she obviously this is at the 4.5 month mark, she doesn't drink water by herself, or she doesn't by itself at all. So she was getting prune juice because she was always constipated, as I mentioned it before, and also the smoothie was full of water, and I was giving her almond milk because that's basically water as well at night, so that's why I chose almond milk for the night feedings, but just to increase the liquid intake. But night was a really hard time because she was sick, and we wanted her to get enough fluid in there, right? And she wasn't even eating enough, so it was super hard. So at that time she did get juice. She did get some juice to drink just by itself. Not just by itself, diluted with water, but I think she didn't get that before. Like before, she was just getting a little bit juice mixed into her formula to try to get her to eat the formula. She was getting just a little bit of juice diluted with water because I needed to get her more I needed to get more liquid in her, and we tried tea and she didn't want to drink tea. So that was it. And that this is the end of the year actually. Like I'm right on December 31st a year ago. And that's her 4.5 month mark, and she was 5,200 grams. And that's by this time I was sick. She was sick. Everyone was sick. So as I was saying, because of this stupid cold or whatever she caught, we had to give her a bit of juice, and she wasn't really eating or drinking anything else. She did eat some smoothies. She did eat a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but she got the juice just to get her have enough liquid in her while she's sick and while she gets this through. She was still constipated, extremely constipated. I had to, this was a really hard time for us because of this as well. Like she was super constipated. Like she woke up at 4 a.m. just because she was so constipated, right? And crying. So it sucked. This is how we went into the new year. And also that's when the cough started. That comes with the cold as well. We were both coughing. Yeah, it was amazing. Exactly 1 year ago. I was giving her the juice just to get her enough liquid so she's not constipated enough. And then because she was sick, she went from being constipated to actually get a little bit of diarrhea. So awesome. You just kind of have to get this balance, right? With the liquid. If you have the same issue, like if your baby is on breastfeeding or formula only, then you probably have no issues like this. Yeah, you're probably gonna have all these issues at the 6-month mark or whenever you go to solid foods, more like 7 months or so, when you give her less formula, less milk. We went through it at the 4-month mark, and most people don't go through this. So most people don't have these issues, and I'm bringing this up just because we did have this issue, and I will probably bring it up at the 7-month mark as well when most people go through it. But I'm bringing it up now because there are people who have the same issue that we did. So because in about 2 weeks, like she was probably sick for about 2 weeks. She was probably really sick for about a week, and after it was just that her voice wasn't there, and then she was coughing. But the doctor said that there's nothing to worry about. It's just that the regular cough that you have at when you have a cold. So all of those went away slowly, and but she was having a little bit of diarrhea happening along this time, and that's why she lost like this was the first day when she actually lost weight. So when they get sick, you do expect them to lose weight, unfortunately. It just our baby was only 5,200 grams at that time, and so for her to lose weight, yeah, that was a little bit of a setback, so to speak. I mean, we were expected it. Because she was sick, and you kind of have to expect it when she's sick and she's not eating enough, and especially if she has diarrhea, right? She was getting really playful again. So with her, this sickness didn't last. Like it lasted altogether for like 3 weeks, and from that, just the first week was kind of bad, but even that wasn't as bad. Like we didn't have to take her to the doctor, only just when she started to cough, then we took her to see if it's actually affected her lungs in any way. But otherwise, she was mainly, sleeping, eating. She was still a little bit playful. Her temperature was up, but only once was it super high, and her diarrhea was getting under control. Her her nose. I had to deal with the nose issue, you know, to keep it open. But her first sickness wasn't too bad, like compared to the second one that she just got a few weeks ago. I mean, this was not too bad, and you probably go through it. You might, I think most people go through it, but at 1 month mark. So that's why I'm just mentioning, and then just so basically it took her a couple of weeks to get completely back to normal, but that's not horrible for such a small baby. About like 10 days later, she was back to just wanting to stand and she wanting to walk. You know, like she basically she could sit by this time. And then when you put, if you hold your hand, then she pulled herself up to standing. So she was doing that at that time, and if you kept holding her, she was walking as well. So she really started it early, and I will talk about this because this might be an issue for people with early walkers, but I think I'm gonna do that in tomorrow's video. I do think still that just the first sickness is really heartbreaking for a mom. I think it's just hard for a mom when your baby gets sick the first time. Okay, when your baby gets sick the second time is also very heartbreaking, I can tell you that. But the first time, I think it's just partially, because that's the first time when you're like, oh, my baby is sick, and you just want to, and you're sick too, like you just want to cuddle with the baby. Anyways, she was still getting breast milk, so I think it helped her get over it a lot faster or a lot easier. And also she didn't get sick again until almost a year later, the next Christmas time. So I think everything that we were doing was working well, and that just one sickness was good, and everyone said that she went through it really easily. So that's what I wanted to finish this video with, and then I'm gonna talk about the standing walking issue in tomorrow's video. So we are still on the what to expect in the 4th month mark, because some early walkers do that, and some doctors don't recommend it, and I will tell you why and all that good stuff. So anyways, see you tomorrow. Yeah, let's see you tomorrow. Oh, let's see you tomorrow. Yeah.